Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next hour. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman tells industry to increase investments and production capacities to also bridge HR gaps and partner with the government on skilling initiatives. India reacts to Saudi Arabia-Pakistan Strategic Mutual Defence Pact, says the government remains committed to protecting national interests. Keir, Starmer and Donald Trump to discuss foreign affairs, new US investment in the UK at the Chequers today. Asian markets steady after US Federal Reserve cuts interest rates by 25 basis points. Fed Chair Jerome Powell defends the central bank's independence, announcing that the body is shedding 10% of its staff. And India's ace athlete Neeraj Chopra set to defend his crown in the Javelin throw final at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo today. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman attended the annual symposium of the Indian Foundation for Quality Management in New Delhi on Thursday. Emphasizing on the need to bridge the human resource insufficiencies, the Finance Minister urged the private sector players to partner with the government to upskill youth, creating more direct employment opportunities in the country.
There's no more hesitation for industry to invest further, to expand capacities, produce more in India. And what else is required by the government to do? Spell them out. The second, a point that I referred when I spoke, how to bridge the human resources insufficiencies. So I would want private sector participation together with government in readying youth to be fit for quick and direct employment. And the third one, which I've repeated several times, is the engagement with government should be ongoing. It should not be just before budget, come and say a list of things and disappear. Please keep it going on. We're all here to hear you, and we respond.
The minister further added that the path to Viksit Bharat, to developed India, is not just limited to infrastructure, but also includes seasoned interventions from the industry leaders on quality management in various sectors.
That our path towards Viksit Bharat is not just going to be based on some infrastructure that is getting built, a nominal improvement in the training of our human resource, but there is a seasoned look into what quality management is and at what levels and to which wings of our manufacturing or even for service sector the interventions are required. And with the seasoned input from industry leaders, this intervention can be a very powerful catalyst towards greater and better production in India, improving the quality of services in India, and so on.
Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav attended the Public Affairs Forum of India in New Delhi on Thursday. Other union ministers, Hardeep Singh Puri and Bhupinder Yadav, also attended the event focused on policy discussions and economic reforms affecting households, farming and the middle class. Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, along with the senior members of the Public Affairs Forum of India, also launched a book during the event, The Policy Pivot. It looks into India's strategic shift in policy and economic issues. Speaking at the event, Ashwini Vaishnav hailed the GST 2.0 reforms and said that it will make household, farming and middle class essentials cheaper, boosting demands in the market.
Now, the way GST has been structured, practically every household item, practically every item used in farming, practically every item used by aspirational middle class will get cheaper. That means when lower prices, the demand will get a significant impetus, a significant boost.
Further, on the sidelines of the IFQM Symposium 2025 in New Delhi, Tata Steel's Managing Director TV Narendran said that the GST reforms may not directly affect steel, but boosting consumption will. He emphasized India's strong growth outlook despite global tensions, calling it a bright spot in a volatile world. Tata Steel's MD urged more focus on demand to support industries like steel that power multiple sectors.
I think it's more an indirect impact than a direct impact because the GST rates were not changed for steel. But many consuming industries are benefiting from it, whether the auto industry or the construction industry, because the GST rate for cement has come down. So any economic activity or increase in economic activity is good for the steel industry. So we see the indirect impact. I also think that some of the pent-up demand will come back, and particularly with the festival season around the corner, we expect the second half of the year to be much better than the first half of the steel industry.
So the industrialists have hailed the recent goods and services tax reforms in India with an appreciation for rate cuts on essential goods and services.
In a decision that will directly touch the lives of millions, the government has slashed GST on bicycles from 12% to just 5%. What does this mean for the common man, for a student cycling to school, for a worker commuting to his job, or for families in both villages and cities? Owning a bicycle just became more affordable. With lower tax on spare parts and accessories, repairs and upkeep will also cost less, ensuring bicycle remains within the reach of every household.
GST 2.0 on the garment segment, a big relief has come for all other common man. Basically, GST up to 2,500, there is up to only 5%. Earlier it was 12%. So, what for the youth? Now, maximum of the youth takes jeans or t-shirt are below 2,500. So, they are going to get lot of benefits. New companies going to come up, which will help the economy to grow to a larger extent.
The recent rationalization of goods and services tax rates mark a significant reform aimed at removing structural anomalies, reducing costs and boosting demand across critical sectors. These changes are particularly impactful in the textile and logistics industries, both of which are vital for domestic growth, employment and export competitiveness. Effective from September 22nd, these reforms are expected to deliver far-reaching benefits, correcting long-standing anomalies while building a stronger foundation for Make in India initiative and positioning the country as a global manufacturing hub. Let's now take a look at these updated GST rates in the textiles, apparel and logistics sector. GST on ready-made garments up to 2,500 rupees per piece is now 5%, making apparel more affordable and boosting domestic demand. GST on man-made fibers and yarns cut from 12% or 18% to just 5%. It removes inverted duty structure and strengthens small and medium enterprises. Carpets and other floor coverings reduced from 12 to 5%, enhancing affordability in domestic markets and making Indian carpets more competitive internationally. GST on commercial goods vehicles like trucks, delivery vans were reduced from 28 to 18%. This will result in cheaper freight movement and better export competitiveness. So let's now take some perspective from DD India's Ajay Mishra joining us on the story now. Hi Ajay. The much anticipated GST 2.0 reforms will kick in on September 22nd, leading to price cuts on a very wide range of products. But there is already existing stock in the distribution pipeline. So how long will it take for the cut in the GST rates to be fully reflected by a cut in market prices?
Well, I think the government has made it clear that 22nd September onwards, all the inventories which has been already purchased by the market, the new MRP has to kick in, and it will be effective from 22nd of September. And industry themselves, the many various associations have promised the government to pass on the benefits to the consumers. So we believe that they are going to comply. We also believe that the items of common uses are going to be cheaper onwards, 22nd September onwards, as the industry has already started factoring in all the rate changes, and there might be the change in the MRP rates, and despite some of the technical glitches, it expected that the real benefits will start coming down in form of some kind of sales going forward. But we understand that the industry is ready to pass on the benefits to the consumers on consumer appliances, on the white goods, on automobiles, on use of daily items that we use in our daily life. So we expect that the old inventory is not going to have any impact, but the reduction of the GST is going to be passed on for the consumers.
Yeah, and almost immediately, which is September 22nd. Yeah. Okay, so GST reforms 2.0 are also expected to give a fillip to private investment. Could you explain to us how this works and which sectors are likely to see the greatest boost in private sector investment?
So Tanvi, as you know that GST reform 2.0 is a fine balance between the growth and fiscal prudence. It is not about reducing the tax burden, but also easing the life for the business, so to say. The sectors which are going to benefit directly are very clear. The government has tried to make the household items either in the 0% category or 5% category. All the electronic goods that we use, like appliances, are into the 18% category. So the two slabs, the 5 and 18, are going to consume almost 99% of the appliances and the household items that we use in our daily lives. So ranging from apparel to footwear to labor-intensive sectors like handicraft, they're all going to be cheaper. The FMCG, the fast-moving consumer goods, along with the electronics industry, are also going to be cheaper for the common man. But I think the festive season, the people will see a huge drop in the prices of automobiles, ranging from 3-wheelers to 2-wheelers under 350 cc and small cars up to 1200 cc of petrol and 1500 cc of diesel. Prices are going to come down, and already the automobile companies have started announcing them.
Yes,
Apart from that, I think the farming community are going to see the huge benefit in terms of lower prices of farm equipments, including tractors and whatever they use for their farm mechanization. So the food processing sector, textile sector, automobile sector. Going forward, I think the education and health, because of the GST rate cut in the education sector, the items that the students use, and also the premiums which has been made zero for the health and life insurance are going to be cheaper. So in general, every aspect of the life that affects common man is going to be impacted positively due to this GST reforms.
Okay, Ajay, how far is the micro, small and medium sector likely to see an upswing in investment activity as a result of these rate cuts, GST rate cuts?
Yeah. So I think the life of the MSME sector is going to be very positive, very easy, because it is going to impact the MSME sector in terms of ease of compliance, because they will have to file the returns which will pop up automatically going forward. The registration for the MSME sector are going to be easier henceforth. The government has said that the compliance burden is going to come down because the government is also likely to help technologically to the MSME sector, and also the cascading effect that they were facing because of the inverted duty structure. That has been rationalized now. They will not have to pay higher tax on the inputs and lower tax on the output side. That has been taken care of. So going forward, the compliance burden on the MSME sector is going to come down. Also, in the value chain, as the prices are going to come down for the input costs, they will see their margins improving further. So it is going to be really ease of living for the MSME sector, and most of the sectors are expecting huge upturn in the demand going forward, huge boost to the manufacturing, and also the demand for the MSMEs to produce and help the larger industries going forward.
Okay, so just 4 days left now, Ajay, before this GST bonanza kicks in. Thank you very much for joining us on DD India News. I much appreciate your time. All right, so from remote villages to high-tech cities, from shopkeepers to startups, India's digital journey in the past decade has been nothing short of revolutionary. At the heart of this transformation is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Digital India, a vision that has reshaped how 140 crore Indians live, learn, work and dream. A report.
In 2014, India had about 25 crore internet connections. Today, that number has grown to nearly 97 crore. Internet data, once among the world's costliest, is now the cheapest in the world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has often said that Digital India is not just a government program, it is a people's movement.
When our Prime Minister Modi ji spoke about his dream of making India the global drone hub by 2030. That inspiration gave birth to our company Drone Anatomy. What truly enabled this journey was the ecosystem that had been built. Supportive policies, encouragement for domestic manufacturing, and most importantly, the digital infrastructure that made doing business faster, simpler, and more transparent.
UPI now processes more than 100 billion transactions annually, accounting for nearly half of the world's real-time digital payments. Through direct benefit transfer, 44 lakh crore rupees has been sent directly to the beneficiaries, cutting out middlemen and saving the exchequer nearly 3.5 lakh crore rupees. Small businesses too are reaping benefits. ONDC, the Open Network for Digital Commerce, has crossed 200 million transactions, helping small shopkeepers compete with e-commerce giants. The government's GEM platform has seen sales over 1 lakh crore in just 50 days, empowering 22 lakh sellers, including thousands of women-led MSMEs. India's digital public infrastructure is now a global model. Aadhaar, the world's largest digital ID system, is used for everything from banking to welfare. CoWIN managed the world's biggest vaccination drive, issuing 220 crore vaccination certificates. DigiLocker now has 54 crore users, storing over 775 crore digital documents. India today is among the top 3 startup ecosystem in the world, with over 1.8 lakh startups and more than 110 unicorns. The India AI mission, with an outlay of 10,282 crore, making India a hub for affordable AI research and innovation. As the nation celebrates Prime Minister Modi's birthday, his legacy shines through India's digital revolution, a revolution that connects people, powers progress, and position India as a global leader. Tapush Bhattacharya's report, DD India.
You're watching DD India News. Still to come on the show. NATO forces show off firepower in Poland after Russian-Belarusian Zapad military drills. In yet another shooting incident in the United States, 3 police officers killed in Pennsylvania while following up on an investigation. And Taiwan's spending bonanza draws more foreign funds to its largest arms show.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Thank you for staying with us on DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. US President Donald Trump on Wednesday hailed the special relationship between his country and the UK as he paid a gushing tribute to King Charles during his historic second state visit to Britain, calling it one of the highest honours of his life. King Charles and the royal family hosted a lavish banquet for Trump and his wife Melania at the Windsor Castle, where he was treated to full array of British pageantry, from a carriage procession and a lavish banquet. The King's speech at the dinner for 160 guests emphasized the deep connections between the two countries and the need to maintain cultural, trading and military links. In his address, Trump also praised British heritage and shared values.
By history and fate, and by love and language, and by transcendent ties of culture, tradition, ancestry, and destiny. We're like two notes in one chord, or two verses of the same poem, each beautiful on its own, but really meant to be played together. The bond of kinship and identity between America and the United Kingdom is priceless and eternal. It's irreplaceable and unbreakable, and we are, as a country, as you know, doing unbelievably well.
So the state visit will continue on Thursday, including Queen Camilla and the Princess of Wales at events with the First Lady Melania Trump. It will move from a royal spectacle to political talks and a news conference as Donald Trump travels to meet Prime Minister Keir Starmer at his country residence, the Chequers. So Donald Trump will meet British Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Thursday for talks designed to focus the US leader's unprecedented second state visit firmly on global affairs rather than domestic political problems. After a day of pomp and ceremony in which Trump rode in a carriage with King Charles and feasted at a state banquet, the US president and Starmer will celebrate the unveiling of a $205 billion package of US investment into Britain. The deals cover areas such as technology, energy and life sciences, will offer a renewal of the so-called special relationship between the two nations, something Starmer has worked hard to cultivate since Trump became the leader in January. The British government thus announced a record-breaking $204.87 billion package of US investment into the UK. During Trump's state visit, the government said US companies had pledged a record-breaking sum as part of Donald Trump's state visit to the country. The figure, which Britain said was the largest commercial investment package generated by any state visit, was announced ahead of Trump's meeting with Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The ministers claim that the package will create more than 7,600 high-quality jobs, revitalize communities and accelerate growth in the sectors of the future. The total includes a previously reported £100 billion long-term investment pledge from private equity firm Blackstone and £3.9 billion from Prologis in life sciences and advanced manufacturing. On to the US, Pennsylvania governor and police officials briefed media after a shooting in the Corderis Township, Pennsylvania. Briefing media, State Police Commissioner Christopher Paris said that 3 law enforcement officers were killed and 2 others were injured on Wednesday. According to officials, investigations are underway and that there was no ongoing threat to the public.
That the shooter is dead. I can confirm that there were 5 law enforcement officers who were shot today. 3 fatally, 2 that were transported here to Wellspan in York. They are currently listed in critical but stable condition. There are simply no words that I can offer to assuage the grief that this community has experienced and unfortunately will continue to experience. The grief will be unbearable, but we will bear it.
And news of Charlie Kirk's assassination. Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old suspect in the murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, was described as cooperative, somber and quiet at the time of his arrest. Washington County Sheriff Nate Brooksby said that Robinson was sitting on a very comfortable couch with a water bottle in his hand, not restrained when arrested. Brooksby received a call from a former detective who knew the shooter's identity and was working with Robinson's parents to persuade him to surrender voluntarily. He knew he was going to get caught, Brooksby said. Robinson was charged with aggravated murder for killing Charlie Kirk, co-founder of Turning Point USA, an ally of President Donald Trump, at the Utah Valley University event. Utah prosecutors are seeking death penalty for Robinson.
Either knew it was just inevitable with all the law enforcement pressure that his picture in the news, the gun on the news. He knew it was inevitable that he would be caught. He was fearful of a SWAT team hit on his house, or he was fearful of being shot by law enforcement. So part of the negotiation and getting him to bring himself in was that we would treat it as delicate and as soft as possible to make him feel comfortable to where he would show up at my office, and that's exactly what happened.
U.S. President Donald Trump celebrated Walt Disney-owned ABC's decision to pull Jimmy Kimmel Live off air on Wednesday. This came after remarks by the show's late-night host about Charlie Kirk's assassination sparked harsh criticism by the head of the Federal Communications Commission. On Truth Social, Trump said, "Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done." The decision comes as Republican President Donald Trump has repeatedly pressured broadcasters to stop airing content he has found objectionable and called on the FCC to pull licenses from stations. Though the decision has also drawn sharp criticism from politicians and TV hosts alike, a number of Democratic lawmakers assailed the decision, saying that free speech was under attack. Meanwhile, fans gathered outside the El Capitan Entertainment Center on Wednesday protesting against the ABC move. And next news of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Ukraine will get missiles for Patriot air defense systems and HIMARS rocket launchers in the first batch of weapons sent under a new funding program agreed upon by the US and Ukraine's European allies. Ukraine has secured over $2 billion in financing for US-produced weapons via the NATO-led Prioritized Ukraine Requirements List, or PEARL. President Volodymyr Zelensky expects that the total committed funds will reach $3.5 billion in October. NATO allies hope to provide $10 billion in arms for Ukraine. HIMARS are ground-launched rocket-propelled artillery that have been crucial to Ukraine's fight with Russia. US President Donald Trump has long been critical of the billions of dollars the US has spent on military aid for Ukraine. The Pearl Initiative offers a way for Europe to pay for the weapons and the US to send them.
We received more than $2 billion from our partners under PURL program. During October, I think we will receive an extra funding. I think we will have in total around $3.5 to $3.6 billion. Regarding the first two packages, each worth $500 million. I understood you asked what those packages will include. I will not disclose all the details, but they will definitely include missiles for Patriot and HIMARS systems.
Now, NATO forces put on a display of firepower in Poland on Wednesday with tanks, helicopters and jets taking part. The exercise, codenamed Iron Gate, coincided with the joint Russian-Belarusian Zapad drills across the border in Belarus. The Polish military said that the exercise is part of a wider series of drills called Iron Defender, focused on the ability to defend Poland in the event of an attack from the east. Iron Gate featured both Polish and Allied troops, including the US Army's V Corps, which has its forward headquarters in Poland. And Taiwan will jointly manufacture a missile and an underwater drone with a US company for the first time as Taipei seeks to boost domestic weapons and ammunition production. Taiwan opened the Taipei Aerospace and Defense Technology Exhibition on Thursday. The democratic island faces the constant threat of an invasion by China, which claims that it is part of its territory and is under US pressure to spend more on its own defense. Still to come on DD India News Hour. Fresh rains leave trail of destruction in the Himalayan states of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. India's logistics cost comes down to 10% from 16% thanks to the rapid expansion of road infrastructure, says Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout ho gaya.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Thank you for staying with us on DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. Here are our top stories of the hour. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman tells the industry to increase investments and production capacities, to also bridge HR gaps and partner with the government on skilling initiatives. India reacts to Saudi Arabia-Pakistan Strategic Mutual Defence Pact, says the government remains committed to protecting national interests. Keir Starmer and Donald Trump to discuss foreign affairs. New US investment in the UK at the Chequers today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Nepal's newly appointed Prime Minister Sushila Karki held a telephonic conversation today. During the talks, Prime Minister Karki extended birthday wishes to Prime Minister Modi on the occasion of his 75th birthday. She also recalled the centuries-old friendly relations between Nepal and India and briefed Prime Minister Modi on the latest political developments in Nepal. In response, Prime Minister Modi congratulated Prime Minister Karki on her appointment to the post of Prime Minister of Nepal and pledged the continued support of India to Nepal as a good neighbour in the days to come. PM Modi conveyed heartfelt condolences on the recent tragic loss of lives in Nepal. During the conversation between the heads of government, the two close neighbours also discussed matters related to Nepal-India relations, issues of bilateral interest and mutual concerns. Prime Minister Modi also extended warm greetings to people of Nepal on their National Day tomorrow. Still with Nepal, the Speaker of the Bagmati Province Assembly, Bhuvan Kumar Pathak, has resigned from his post. He has submitted his resignation letter to the Deputy Speaker, Apsara Chapagain. Speaker Pathak has mentioned in his resignation letter that he has tendered resignation from his post in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution of Nepal and the Provincial Assembly Rules 2074 BS. He said that he had announced his intention to resign on social media on September 9th itself, stressing that continuing in office would be inappropriate amid public grief and anger by the sentiments of the youth. But because of the formal process, the resignation got delayed. Patak was elected to the Provincial Assembly from the Rashtriya Prajatantra Party. So, the violent Gen Z protests that erupted on September 8th and 9th in Nepal left a trail of destruction across the country's Karnali province. A total of 19 government and private buildings were completely destroyed. These included the Provincial Assembly, the Chief Minister's residence, and homes of top political leaders. Offices of major parties like the Nepali Congress, CPN-UML and Maoist Centre were also torched. In Jumla, additional party offices were damaged. According to police records, 14 large vehicles, 12 motorcycles and 1 three-wheeler were also damaged during the demonstrations. Sparked by youth anger, the protests caused massive losses, and officials say it will take time to assess the full financial impact of the crisis. On to weather updates now. First from India. In the northern Indian state of Uttarakhand, Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami conducted an on-site inspection of relief and rescue operations in the disaster-affected areas of the state. The cloudburst occurred late on Wednesday night in Nandanagar Ghat area of Chamoli, triggering flash floods and debris flow that buried multiple residential structures. Earlier, Chief Minister Dhami, in a review meeting on Thursday, said that he was personally monitoring the situation following a cloudburst in Chamoli that left at least 14 people missing and caused significant damage to houses in the region.
लगभग 20 लोग घायल हुए हैं और 14 लोग अभी लापता हैं और 200 से भी ज़्यादा लोग कल की जो रात की आपदा चमोली जनपद में आई है उससे प्रभावित हुए। वहाँ पर सभी बचाव करने वाले दल पहुँच गए हैं। डीएम एसएसपी प्रातःकाल ही वहाँ के लिए चल दिए थे और भी अन्य जो लोग घायल हैं उनको कुछ लोगों को वहाँ पर अस्पतालों में पहुँचाया गया है और जो गंभीर रूप से घायल हैं उनके लिए क्योंकि मौसम का इंतज़ार कर रहे थे और अभी एक विंडो मिल गई है तो उनको तत्काल वहाँ से एम्स शिफ्ट किया जा रहा है।
At least one body has been recovered so far and 2 villagers were safely rescued by helicopters. Police administration and NDRF and SDRF teams are deployed to the affected areas to conduct search and rescue operations. Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu held a high-level meeting to assess damage from recent torrential rains across the state. He expressed deep concern over the loss of lives and properties and directed all the concerned officers to take prompt action to ensure the safety and well-being of the affected people. He also instructed to reinstate electricity, water supply schemes and other essential supplies in the affected areas on priority. He added that under the special relief package, the state government is providing 10,000 rupees and 5,000 rupees as rent in urban and rural areas respectively for those who were rendered homeless during the disaster. And India's Nupur Verma joins us from Shimla now. Nupur, monsoon is expected to start retreating in a day or two now, but rain will last till September 24th. So looking at the days gone by, how much destruction has Himachal Pradesh seen?
Yes, definitely. If I tell you about today's weather, it's raining continuously since morning, and as you can see today behind me, that foggy atmosphere is still present there. And yesterday night was definitely not, similar. It was very difficult, and the people were facing massive problems yesterday in Bilaspur and Mandi. If I talk about Bilaspur, in Sameltu area, due to massive landslide, the Chandigarh-Manali NH was closed for all type of vehicular movements, but now the district administration was working in order to open the roads, and one-way vehicular movement traffic is being open and vehicles are passing on. And if I talk about Rishikesh, which is in Bilaspur, 2 HRTC buses also came under the massive landslide, and the problem and the crane lifting is still going on. The buses are being taken out from the people, and the crane lifting is being happened. But if I talk about Mandi, the situation was similar. The silt entered into the houses of people, and the markets also, the shops, the farmers and their crops have adversely been affected. And if I tell you that the Mausam, the weather is still not under control, and the meteorological department said that on 25 of August the situation will remain under control, but now it's September and monsoon is still not vanishing. It is creating a lot of problem to the people as well as leaving them homeless. So if I tell you about the current updates, the meteorological department today has issued alert in Shimla, Sirmaur, Lahaul Spiti, Chamba and various districts of Kullu. However, the schools in the subdivision of Banjar have remained closed in order to ensure the safety of the children. According to the Himachal Pradesh government, approximately 4,500 crore loss has been there, which is reported, and 420 people are still missing.
That's a huge number. Thank you very much, Nupur, for tracking all those weather updates from Shimla and the state of Himachal Pradesh. Moving on now, the pace at which the border infrastructure is being built along the northern and western borders of India is unprecedented. Our correspondent Nandita Dagar spoke to the DG of Border Roads Organization about the upcoming big projects, one of which will provide a third axis to Leh, Ladakh.
The Border Roads Organization has already completed 65 years last year of its raising, and this is the silent service because it is connecting the vital arteries of our country to our borders, with the northern borders with China, with the western borders with Pakistan, and therefore they give a strategic reach to our forces, arms, ammunition, logistics, everything can reach our borders, be rapidly deployed. We are speaking to Lieutenant General Raghu Srinivasan, who is the Director General of Border Roads Organization. Thank you so much, General Raghu, for speaking to us.
The government has given a surge to border infrastructure, and this is unparalleled to what we have seen in the past. So in the last 7 to 10 years, there has been an impetus given to border infrastructure, and it's not about the population, it is about developing border infrastructure serving two purposes. One is the strategic mobility of the defense forces to get there in time and to be able to deploy and remain there and to be able to sustain there. A very important part of this is to develop the economic artery and to meet the economic aspirations of the border people. The government has already said that our border villages are not the last villages, they are the Pratham Gaon, they are the first villages.
So the upcoming big projects of the Border Roads Organization that you mentioned and the Nimu Padam Darcha axis that you were talking about.
So what I would like to say is that there's been a tremendous surge and government impetus which has been given to border infrastructure, and this is unparalleled in anything that we have seen, and this has happened over the last 10 years or so. Connectivity to Leh has been through Srinagar, or it has been through the Manali axis. Now, the third connectivity was established by the border roads last year. This is over the Zanskar range.
All right, Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari, while addressing the Indian Chamber of Commerce Global Business Summit 2025, said that the India's logistics cost has come down to 10% from the earlier 16%. Owing to rapid expansion of road infrastructure. The minister underlined that the government is focused on two key priorities: building world-class roads and transforming the country's fuel mix, pointing out that 85% of India's fuel requirement is imported. He said alternative energy sources such as hydrogen, ethanol, LNG and methanol are being actively developed. India has taken a note of the signing of a strategic mutual defence pact between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, with the Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson saying that the government was aware that this development, which formalises a long-standing arrangement between the two countries, has been under consideration. It was also informed in the statement that the implications of this development are being studied for India's national security as well as for regional and global stability. The government remains committed to protecting India's national interests and ensuring comprehensive national security in all domains, the statement read. India's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ambassador Harish Parvatanene, reaffirmed India's commitment to promoting peace, stability and development in Afghanistan during the UN Security Council's quarterly briefing on the country. Ambassador Parvatanene highlighted India's immediate priorities of providing humanitarian assistance and implementing capacity-building initiatives for the Afghan people. He stressed the importance of international and regional consensus on Afghanistan and reiterated India's support for the UN assistance mission in Afghanistan.
Monitoring the security situation in Afghanistan. The international community must coordinate efforts towards ensuring that entities and individuals designated by the UN Security Council, the ISIL and Al-Qaeda and their affiliates, including Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, along with those who facilitate their operations, no longer exploit Afghan territory for terrorist activities. On the political front, India's External Affairs Minister has spoken twice with the Acting Foreign Minister of Afghanistan. We welcome the strong condemnation of the Pahalgam terrorist attack of 22nd April 2025 by the Afghan side. Mr. President, any coherent policy to address a post-conflict situation must combine incentivizing positive behavior and disincentivizing harmful actions.
India and the US marked the start of a new era in their space partnership at an event titled India-USA Space Collaboration, the Frontiers of a Futuristic Partnership. The event was hosted by the Embassy of India in Washington, D.C. Celebrating recent milestones, including the joint NASA-ISRO-NISA satellite and the Axiom Mission 4, the officials emphasized how decades of collaboration are now setting the stage for exciting missions to the Moon and Mars. NASA astronauts Sunita Williams, Nick Hague and Butch Wilmore were joined by India's Gaganyatri astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla for a panel discussion. Ambassador of India to the United States, Vinay Quatra, described the partnership as a dynamic platform for advancing scientific collaboration, technology development and commercial cooperation. The Chenab Corps of the Indian Army paid tribute to fallen soldiers in Uri, Jammu and Kashmir, acknowledging their bravery and sacrifice against a terrorist attack. Honouring the valour and sacrifice of the brave hearts, Indian Army said Chenab Corps honours the indomitable spirit and selfless sacrifice of the fallen brave hearts who confronted a dastardly terrorist attack with unyielding courage and made the supreme sacrifice while defending the nation. Their unparalleled bravery and sacrifice continues to inspire us all and remain eternally etched in our collective memory. And next we take a look at other stories making news in India. Voting for Delhi University Students' Union elections is underway and is being held across 52 polling stations. A total of 21 candidates are contesting the Delhi University Students' Union elections this year, along with DUSU. Student Union elections are also being held at the college level across all DU colleges. Candidates are representing parties like the Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, ABVP, National Students' Union of India, Aam Aadmi Party and the Left Alliance. India's Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan virtually attended the launch of the Swasth Nari Sashakt Parivar Abhiyan from New Delhi. This campaign was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Dhar in Madhya Pradesh. And on to business news now. The Federal Reserve, or the US Central Bank, goaded by the risk of rising unemployment, reduced interest rates on Wednesday for the first time since December and indicated more cuts would follow to halt any slide in a labour market already experiencing higher joblessness, a declining work week and other signs of weakness. Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaking in a press conference after the US Central Bank lowered its benchmark interest rate by 0.25 percentage point to the range of 4 and 4.25%, indicated that more cuts would follow at meetings in October and December, adding that the softening job market was now top of the mind for him and his fellow policymakers. Powell's comments cap a steady shift in tone that began over the summer as Fed officials concluded that the higher import tariffs imposed by the Trump administration would not lead to persistent inflation, with faster price increases expected through the end of the year, but price pressures also expected to fade after that time, even as monetary policy becomes looser. Fed Chair Jerome Powell also indicated that the US Central Bank will be shedding 10% of its staff. Wall Street indices ended mixed after a session of choppy trade. Nasdaq and the S&P 500 closed lower in choppy trading on Wednesday after the Fed cut interest rates by an expected 25 basis points. Fed Chair Jerome Powell cited the weak job market, so the Dow Jones closed higher after meandering through Powell's speech. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.6%, but the S&P 500 lost 0.1%, while the Nasdaq Composite Index shedded 0.3%. So, global stock markets were mixed on Thursday after the Federal Reserve delivered its first rate cut this year. Most Asian stock markets rose, with Japan rallying a new record high after the US Federal Reserve reduced interest rate and signaled further reductions. Japan's Nikkei rose 0.3%, reaching 44,938 points in early trade and briefly touched 45,056, surpassing the previous record set earlier in the week. The Korea Composite Stock Price Index also gained 0.6%, reaching 3,433 points. And in sports news now, India's ace athlete Neeraj Chopra has qualified for the Javelin throw final at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo on Wednesday. Defending champion Chopra hurled the javelin to 84.85 meters in his first attempt to breach the qualification mark of 84.5 meters. The final will take place on Thursday, where double Olympic medalist Chopra will chase the third medal of the championships. India's Sachin Yadav also managed to squeeze into the final after finishing 10th with a commendable 83.67 meter throw. Sports Goods and Toys Export Promotion Council announced the winners of its Export Awards for 2024-25. Sports Minister Mansukh Mandviya presented the awards to exporters who excelled in global markets and boosted India's image as a trusted source of quality sporting goods and toys. The winner said that exports are rising and praised the government for creating a strong manufacturing ecosystem in the country.
Great time to be in India, actually. The government is very encouraging. Also, the whole world is looking at India as a sporting manufacturing hub. And exports of sport goods from India are increasing every year.
I received an award and we are continue growing. Our sales is also increased by 20% from the last year, and government also supporting a lot, and we hope we can keep continuing the same flow.
Every foreign countries are concentrated on in India, and there is a potential scope to increase in the sports, and if they can give some relaxation in the sports, raw material, machinery for upgradation, technology upgradation, I think whatever share we are giving to India, it will be up.
Meta Platforms launched its first consumer-ready smart glasses with a built-in display seeking to extend the momentum of its Ray-Ban line, one of the early consumer hits of the artificial intelligence era. CEO Mark Zuckerberg showed off what he called the Meta Ray-Ban display, although some demos of the new technology did not go as planned, with a call to the glasses failing to go through. For instance, the new display glasses have a small digital display in the right lens for basic tasks such as notifications. The Meta Smart glasses will start at a price of $799 and will be available in stores on September the 30th. So a lot on display on these Meta Smart glasses. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.